Okay, everyone, listen, I have very important things to discuss with you and not a lot of time. So, right now, we know for sure that unfortunately, Henry Cavill is out as Superman. That is sad news for DC fans, as Henry Cavill has been absolutely spectacular in that role. While I'm not the biggest DCEU fan, I did definitely like Henry Cavill as Superman. But with him no longer being in that role and no longer being associated with Witcher, maybe text your ex right now, I'm thinking maybe Henry Cavill heard about the upcoming Mistborn adaptation and called his agent and said,
Kif, clear my schedule.
That was a joke. We know Cavill actually is passionate about these projects, but make it freaking happen. We know Henry Cavill is a big Cosmere fan.
What are your go-to sci-fi or fantasy recommendations?
Anything by Raymond E. Feist, anything by David Gemmell, anything by Brandon Sanderson.
He's even a Wheel of Time fan. You don't think we could find a decent role for him to fit into for the Mistborn world? This isn't news, it's a pitch, Sanderson team. I know some of you watch my channel. Call up his agent or whoever, I don't know how this works, and tell him, hey, we've announced we're working on a Mistborn adaptation. You would be an outstanding Kelsier, Lord Wheeler, Staff Venture. I don't care. Vin! Make him Vin! I don't care. Everyone treat him like he's a tiny child. I just really like the idea of Henry Cavill being in a Mistborn adaptation. I'm sorry, Superman fans, but the stars are aligning for us over here. God damn it! Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News. I am your disheveled goblin host who occasionally starts the news with not news, but just stuff he'd really like to see happen related to the news stories he saw of that day, Daniel Green. And today, we are going to be kicking it off with something we've already touched on, and yes, that is the fact that Henry Cavill is officially out as Superman. He is no longer connected to Witcher Netflix or the DCEU, though of course it's likely he could return in the future in the role in some multiverse crossover, hoopla blah blah blah. Anything's possible in this day and age in superhero movies. I stand by what I said. I'd love to see him get involved with any of the Cosmere adaptations, but specifically the Mistborn adaptation, which is going to be the wider world of non-fantasy book readers' introduction to the Cosmere. I think there's a lot of roles he could fit in Mistborn Era 1. Am I saying that because it means there's a somewhat decent chance I could ask Sanderson's team to set up an interview where I get Henry Cavill on the channel? Partially, yes. Genuinely though, this does suck. Everything I saw did point to Henry Cavill wanting to continue on the mantle of Superman, and I do not think he did a bad job wearing the cape. In my personal opinion, he was a better Superman than the Superman movies he was in. But I also do not agree with the fan backlash and anger that seems to be being directed at James Gunn, who partially broke this news on his Twitter, because he could also be right, and Henry Cavill could just not fit his image for the seeming reboot or realignment that's happening over at the DCEU, and they need possibly a younger up-and-coming actor. I don't know. The internet's not exactly good with the nuance that the right decision can still kind of suck in some ways while leading to a better result in the long run. And I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm saying we don't know! But in a tangentially related fun tidbit of news, especially for Warhammer 40k fans, we also had Rahul Cooley tweeted Henry Cavill, "Hey Henry, f it. Let's make a Warhammer movie limited series. Kind regards, Rahul." Fuck yeah! To be clear, this is just a joke tweet from one actor to another, but it's a joke tweet that makes me go, please. The developments within the DCEU, though, as a whole right now are happening rather fast. We have also seen a Batman Beyond movie that apparently had Michael Keaton attached also be scrapped. And with Wonder Woman 3 reportedly not moving forward, we've also had Patty Jenkins have to come forward and put out this big statement because there were so many clickbaity headlines like blaming her for it. And today I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of the video, NordVPN. Nord is a champion when it comes to protecting your device from an avalanche of online threats. They're there to do everything from encrypt files, secure passwords, and identify threats like malware or even ransomware. And by avoiding these malicious websites, blocking trackers, and intrusive ads, your device will be able to search and view websites smoother and faster. Secure up to 6 devices on one single account, and choose from over 5,600 plus NordVPN servers worldwide. That seems excessive. And my personal favorite feature, even if you're not connected to a NordVPN server, if you have NordVPN enabled in your app settings, you can be protected without actually having to connect to the VPN itself. But best of all for you, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied. NordVPN wants to have your back, and all you have to do is check out nordvpn.com/green to check out the exclusive deals they have offered. Back to the video. But this brings us to our first piece of of book news for today's fantasy news, and that is going to be in regards to Adrian Tchaikovsky's new cover reveal for Lords of Uncreation. In typical Adrian Tchaikovsky style, it's of this beautiful planetary body with some form of monolithic craft near it as alien ships fly by. It's enough to give you a little bit of an existential crisis about the fact that you're floating in a black rock in the middle of a nearly infinite void just waiting for a more advanced civilization to come across and wipe us out. How's your day going? And in some quickie news, Dune Part 2 is finished filming, and following that up with some not quickie news, it appears that God of War is indeed getting a series adaptation over at Amazon. Not happy about that. I don't think this is a good fit, though I will be honest, I am pretty biased against Amazon at this point because, as I've talked about here previously on the channel, when I was doing the Wheel of Time coverage, they tried to tell me to be a team player, and ever since they violated that level of professionalism with me, I kind of have this entire mentality towards the studio of I have also heard from many people who have been involved in a couple different projects of just how messy this studio is when it comes to their marketing strategies and communication with teams, and I just don't like how they operate. My impression is this is a studio that was whipped up really quickly and suffers from yes man syndrome to certain people higher up, and as an end result, the communication between the studio and the people actually working on the projects can be devastatingly bad. But getting my own personal issues with the studio out of the way, what we do know for sure is that Rafe Judkins, showrunner of The Wheel of Time, will also be serving as showrunner for God of War, and they have two writers attached, named Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby, who have worked on Children of Men, Iron Man, and The Expanse between them. And those two will also be executive producing alongside Rafe Judkins. It's far too early to say anything beyond that, but just know, and probably good to keep in mind for me in the future, that I do have a disliking for how this studio not only handles their projects, but handles working with content creators like me. I do think they could, for some reason, pull off a Fallout show, not God of War. I am really tired of pulling punches to maintain professionalism. I'm a YouTuber, goddammit, and this is about my honest thoughts, and those are them. Like them, dislike them, you're welcome to disagree, but just have a well-reasoned argument in the comments down below. Okay, I am speaking only to My Hero Academia fans now through the portal of fantastical vortexes, which means that no one who's not a My Hero Academia fan can currently hear me. Magical powers! What we've learned what's happening to your franchise is that Netflix, in collaboration with Legendary Entertainment, is going to be bringing you a live-action adaptation. And I know what you're saying. Oh my god, another Netflix anime live-action adaptation? This can't go well. Well, okay, you have reasonable fears, but you might be happy to know that Joby here is being brought in as a writer, and he's worked on stuff like Obi-Wan, so there's that. And then we also have a director who has some impressive stuff in their resume that I think is, don't look at this. Don't look bad. No, you look over here. Most likely this is not going to be great, but let's hope for... But in a piece of news that I'm sure will have a lot of anime fans going, yay, and just quality cinema fans, Hayao Miyazaki has said no, he is not retired. Who could have possibly seen it coming? And instead, he's going to be putting out another film called How Do You Live? Now, I joke, but we've known this movie is coming down the road from Studio Ghibli for a little bit now, but what's confirmed is the release date is going to be July 14th of 2023. This movie is based off of a 1937 novel by the same name that tells the story of a coming-of-age tale with two narrators, a young boy Copper who must confront change in his life after the death of his father, and his uncle who offers his nephew answers to life's big questions. And that sounds exactly like something that Studio Ghibli would do a fantastic job tackling. Borderline unrelated note, but I just rewatched Spirited Away with my brother over the last weekend, and my god, does that movie hold up. Oh, it still manages to make me feel like a child coming into adulthood, and I'm nearly 30. But this has just been your latest episode of Fantasy News. Like and subscribe if you have not already, and support my Kickstarter for the bookmark launch we have going. We are well over 45 times funded, and hot damn! I really, really appreciate everyone who's made that such a wild success. Let me know who you would like to see Henry Cavill possibly cast as within the Cosmere as a whole. And just remember that that was not an actual story. It was just me geeking out at a possibility, trying to connect dots of what could actually be the case. And Sanderson's team, if you're listening, for the love of God, reach out to the man. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.